In the headlines for this hour on VTV News, special policy proposed for Nghệ An Đà Nẵng development. And LYCHEE's export orders increase. In our world news, Israel resumes Gaza food sales.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 3 p.m. local time in Hanoi, and you're watching VTV News. Continuing the 7th session agenda, the National Assembly has listened to reports on the review of the draft resolutions on piloting additional specific mechanisms and policies for the development of Nghệ An province and the draft resolutions and supplementations on piloting the urban development model and several specific mechanisms and policies for the development of Đà Nẵng City.
For Nghệ An province, the government's submission proposes 4 new policies to promote development. The majority agree that Nghệ An Province People's Committee should have at most 5 vice chairs, an increase of 1. Nghệ An province will also be allowed to transfer the additional balance from the central budget to the local budget, not counting tax revenue from hydropower production facilities and domestic revenue from mineral exploitation activities. With its mechanisms and policy, the provincial budget will be supplemented with about $35.3 million each year. Regarding the 5 new policies proposed for Đà Nẵng City, the National Assembly Finance and Budget Committee agree with the policy of piloting the establishment of a free trade zone. A number of policies to support innovation and startup activities, as well as semiconductors and artificial intelligence in the city, were also approved.
The State Bank of Vietnam had just requested credit institutions and foreign bank branches implement ways to make credit and interest rate cheaper. Specifically, they want banks to reduce costs, simplify lending procedures, and increase the use of information technologies and digital transformation in lending processes. This move aims to drive 1 to 2% lending interest rate reductions, especially for traditional growth drivers, emerging industry, green transformation, circular economy, and social housing to support businesses and customers and increase access to bank credit capital. It is anticipated it will maintain a stable and reasonable interest rate level consistent with balancing capital, expanding healthy credit and risk management capability, and stabilizing the monetary market and interest rate level. To facilitate the export of agricultural products, the LYCHEE Border Gate Custom has increased the number of staff for its functional departments. In particular, departments receiving and handling procedures has been assigned 7 to 10 custom officers to speed up throughput and custom declarations. The branch also directed custom officers to start work 30 minutes before the gate opening time. Since the beginning of the year, 7,800 tons of fresh lychees have been exported through Kim Thành International Road Border Gate number 2 with a turnover value of over $4.7 million, an increase of 55% over the same period. Every day, more than 200 vehicles carrying fresh lychees from Bắc Giang and Hưng Yên provinces are cleared through customs. Within 5 months of this year, Vietnam has exported nearly 4.2 million tons of rice, reaching a turnover of nearly $2.7 billion, an increase of nearly 15% in volume and more than 38% in value. According to the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, the country is expected to export 7.5 to 8 million tons of rice this year. Currently, in the Mekong Delta, the country's rice export has shot up. More to follow.
Due to a volatile economy, worldwide demand for food has increased sharply. Vietnam has effectively taken advantage of the country's potential and boosted rice production. As a result, rice exports are increasing both in output and in value.
From the fourth quarter of 2023 until now, rice exports have shown many positive signs. Rice prices have particularly reached a new level.
Vietnam's opportunity to increase rice exports is primarily due to positive exports to the Philippines market. This Southeast Asian country, which imports more than 80% of Vietnam's rice, has increased its rice consumption to 1 million tons since the start of 2024 and is likely to exceed 4 million tons.
Our rice exports show strong growth and international rice prices remain high due to India's export ban. India is the world's largest rice exporter, and I believe that this trend will continue. Climate change is also very difficult, and the world's food demand is also increasing.
Over the past year, India, the world's leading rice exporter, has also restricted, almost banned, the export of non-glutinous rice. This is a great advantage for Vietnam in negotiating and promoting an increase in the value of rice grains.
The current strong growth in rice export is a good thing. According to businesses, production linkages with farmers must be better implemented to promote sustainable rice exports.
In the first 5 months of the year, the total export turnover of agriculture, forestry, and fishery products reached $24.14 billion, an increase of 21% over the same period last year. Of this figure, rice export increased by more than 38%, and fruit and vegetable increased by 28% over the same period. According to the Department of Crop Production, Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, if there are no unusual developments in weather, natural disasters, or epidemics by the end of the year, rice and vegetable production will meet the plant area and output for domestic and export purposes. Fruit and vegetables are a bright export spot, bringing in nearly $2.6 billion in the past 5 months, up 28% over the same period last year. Growing area must prepare conditions to meet the main consumption seasons in the context of increasing import orders from potential markets. At the same time, they must continue to improve quality to create momentum for next year. More to follow.
Hai Duong's Cooperative Number 10 grows lychee earmarked for export on 10 hectares. The output in 2023 was around 150 tons. But the yield is down this year and is expected to amount to approximately 120 tons.
Our 10-hectare yield for export is 70 to 80 tons. We export to markets such as USA, Australia, EU, and Japan. This year, we exported to the UK market and found it promising.
Hai Duong currently has nearly 9,000 hectares dedicated to growing lychees. This year's output is estimated at 45,000 tons, down about 20,000 from last year. Enterprises say that this year's early and main season lychee output has decreased, but orders have increased.
This year, the company's main export markets are Japan, Australia, Canada, and the US. The Middle East market had decreased due to the main crop failure. However, we still expect to export the same as last year, thanks to the market growth in Canada and the US.
According to Hai Duong's Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, the province has 52 areas certified for production to VietGAP and Global GAP standards, and 198 growing area codes meeting the strict food safety standards of the markets.
The Japanese market is very demanding, especially regarding the safety and taste of lychees. Last year, we went directly to the growing area, tested them, and evaluated the residue and quality. This year, we plan to purchase 30 tons, an increase of 120% compared to last year.
All growing areas are given codes and sent to other countries for registration. We also closely monitor these growing areas to ensure export standards.
According to a representative of Hai Duong's Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, of the total expected output of 45,000 tons, about 7,000 tons will be exported to Japan, the US, Australia, and Europe. In addition, 10,000 tons will be exported to China's markets.
Currently, farmers of NGHE District, Hai Duong Province, are busy harvesting lychees. This year, output has significantly dropped due to adverse weather conditions. The output in NGHE District is projected to be around 22,000 tons, roughly half of the 2023 yield. To offset this decline, lychee growers and Hải Dương provincial authorities are emphasizing quality care and promoting consumption to enhance the value of the lychees. More to follow.
Due to weather conditions, Nguyen's family expects their lychee output to be only half of last year's, around 7 to 8 tons. However, despite the reduced yield, the price of lychee has increased compared to previous years.
In recent years, the value of Thanh Hà lychees has consistently risen due to expanding export markets, with increases ranging from 15 to 20% to as much as 50%. For instance, my lychees typically sold for $2.5 per kilogram. This year they're fetching almost $5 per kilogram.
Thanh Hà has 48 lychee growing areas with 167 growing area codes approved for major markets, including China, Australia, Japan, France, the United States, South Korea, and more. To further expand consumption markets and enhance product quality, a Thanh Hà lychee trade promotion conference was held in early May. According to Vietnamese trade offices abroad, businesses and farmers need to adopt a more systematic approach to increase the export value and market share of lychees.
Lately, emerging small-scale enterprises rely on air transportation for exports. However, the absence of long-term preservation technology hinders our ability to export lychee via sea routes, which could significantly reduce costs. To expand market share in the future, our focus needs to be on improving preservation techniques and lowering transportation expenses. This will help ensure that prices to Europe remain at reasonable levels, acceptable to consumers.
Processing and adding value to fruit products is a viable direction for localities, businesses, and farmers. By doing so, we can extract more value from lychees than merely exporting them fresh.
Expanding consumer markets, investing in preservation processes, and improving product quality are key focus areas for Thanh Hà in the near future.
The limited shelf life of these agricultural goods necessitates further action. Thus, we're actively inviting businesses to the region not only to purchase fresh lychees for export, but also to engage in processing. This shift aims to enhance the value of our agricultural products by transforming them into processed goods.
To ensure the quality of lychees for export, Thanh Hà district is rigorously maintaining and controlling 167 growing area codes. It is anticipated that the selling price of Thanh Hà lychees in export markets will be 15 to 30% higher than last year.
On Wednesday, 2 tons of Vietnamese lychees went on store shelves in Paris to serve consumers and promote Vietnamese fruits. This comes as part of an effort by many Vietnamese organizations and business communities in France to promote Vietnamese goods to French consumers. More to follow.
2 tons of fresh Thanh Hà lychees meeting global gap standards arrived at Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris on May the 28th, marking the first shipment of this year's crop.
This is the first time a Vietnamese fresh fruit product is exported to France directly via Vietnam Airlines. We seek to have more batches airlifted directly to France to ensure the fruit's freshness.
This year, lychees will be sold to a VTV4 supermarket. This is thanks to persistent efforts by the Vietnamese business community in France.
In addition to selling at branches at VTV4, our company also plans to bring lychees to other stores in France. We'll bring goods into the wholesale distribution system through the Paris wholesale market. Assessing such wholesale markets will open up more opportunities for Vietnamese lychees.
The trade office and business community will intensify product introduction and promotion initiatives, helping Vietnamese goods reach more local customers.
And before moving on to some other news, let's take a look at foreign exchange rate for today, May the 31st. Coming up next on VTV News. successful smart village pilots provide insight on new style rural development. And unique landmarks celebrate Ho Chi Minh City timeless heritage. "47 projects received the Vietnam Science and Technology Innovation Award, and the World Intellectual Property Organization WIPO awarded 2 projects at the award ceremony held on Thursday night in Hanoi. Deputy Prime Minister Trần Lưu Quang attended and presented the awards. The 4 first prize-winning projects were in mechanical automation, material technology, biology, energy saving, and renewable energy use. 2 projects received WIPO certificates for the applications of superfine dry grinding technology to produce high-grade super-thin bricks and tiles, energy-saving research on technologies and constructions of a factory to produce NO2-free polyester resin with a capacity of 25,000 tons per year to assist the productions of quartz-based artificial stone. In recent years, smart villages, hamlets, and commutes have emerged as a pioneering initiative to new rural development. In Dan Phượng District, Hanoi, the integration of vibrant flower-lined paths, spacious new houses, and lush green spaces highlight the transformation brought by the smart village. Join us in the following story to learn about a successful smart village pilot.
QR codes have become a familiar sight in Thu Quai Village, Song Phượng commune over the past year. Lâm completed his grandson's birth registration with a simple QR scan at a community cultural site. 10 such points have been installed in the village to enhance residents' amenities. The process is now quick and efficient. I no longer have to spend too much time commuting to get birth and death registration done. All 4 villages in Song Phượng commune are certified smart villages, meeting the criteria for internet infrastructure, smart devices, smart rural management, social connectivity, and rural services. Non-cash payment methods are commonplace even among older people like Ting.
I may not be young anymore, but I'm a fast learner. With the help of community technology groups, I have quickly adapted to new technologies.
36 smart self-management groups, each with its own Zalo group, operate effectively and play a crucial role in the success of the pilot smart villages. Information about schools, policies, and guidelines reaches residents quickly, and their feedback is addressed promptly. Currently, nearly 98% of households in Song Phượng use smart devices and tablets, and 100% of commune officials use smart applications to connect with the community. The seamless operation of smart villages helps residents and cooperatives to thrive in the digital age.
On May 29th, an international workshop on science and technology for treating and minimizing the impact of post-war toxic chemicals, dioxin, on humans and the environment in Vietnam took place in Hanoi. The workshop was organized by the Departments of Military Science and the National Steering Committee for Overcoming the Consequences of Post-War Bombs, Mines, and Toxic Chemicals in Vietnam in coordination with relevant agencies. The presentations and opinions at the workshop focus on issues such as the impact of dioxin on humans and the results of cooperations and support for victims, the results of research, applications, testing of technology, and implementation of dioxin treatment at Da Nang, Aso, Bien Hoa airports. Also highlighted were the development criteria, requirements for designing dioxin treatment technologies, and environmental monitoring solutions when implementing chemical dioxin treatment projects in Vietnam. This year, the series of Lâm Đồng Golden Tourism Week event took place from May 31st to June 6th, opening the summer tourism season with a draft of promotions. During Lâm Đồng Golden Tourism Week, most participating hotels and resorts have reduced room prices and associated services by 10% to 20%. A few resorts in Đà Lạt suburb offered 30 to 40% discount. In addition, tourist attractions in Đà Lạt, Lạc Dương, and Đơn Dương district also have discounted or free admissions. With the theme Lâm Đồng, the rendezvous of flowers and music, this year Tourism Golden Week introduces 4 themes for the first time, which are related to flowers and music, such as traditional tea space at Lamdong Museum, traditional music performances, and Dalat night cruise tours. The Caravel Saigon Hotel in Ho Chi Minh City is renowned for its nostalgic charm. The iconic establishment was a former reception hotel for influential global figures. In modern day, it's continued to captivate tourists with its traditional Vietnamese stone bowl pho. More to follow.
Situated in the heart of the city, the Caravel Saigon Hotel fuses old-world elegance with a contemporary touch. In the late 1960s, it was the tallest and most advanced building in Ho Chi Minh City. The hotel has hosted numerous prominent figures in the early 21st century, including former U.S. President Bill Clinton, renowned author Graham Greene of The Quiet American, celebrities, famous fashion designers, and various foreign ambassadors and senators. In the present day, the hotel delights visitors with its exquisite cuisine, particularly the traditional stone bowl beef pho, which is rich with authentic Vietnamese flavors.
When you visit the Caravel Saigon, you must try the stone bowl of pho. I use traditional ingredients like cardamom, ginger, onions, anise, cinnamon, and reishi in my broth. I roast them and cook the broth for 24 hours to achieve the distinctive flavor of Vietnamese pho, which I have served here for over 20 years.
With its classic beauty and modern luxury blend, the Caravel Saigon Hotel offers guests a unique experience, making it an ideal destination for relaxation.
Coming up next in our world news, Israel resumed Gaza food sale. And Donald Trump found guilty on felony court. The Israeli military has lifted a ban on the sales of food to Gaza from Israel and the occupied West Bank. For the first time since the Israel-Hamas conflict broke down last October, goods produced inside Israel or the West Bank have been allowed into Gaza. Gazan traders have been green-lighted to resume their food purchases, such as fresh fruit, vegetables, and dairy products from Israeli and Palestinian suppliers. Coast Guard, the brand of the Israeli military responsible for aid transfer, said it was looking at ways to boost humanitarian aid and increase the amount of food for sale in Gaza. Donald Trump became the first former president to be convicted of felony crimes as a New York jury found him guilty of falsifying business records. In Manhattan courtroom, the former U.S. president was convicted on all 34 counts of falsifying business records related to a hush money payments made in the final week of the 2016 presidential election. The $130,000 payment was said to be made to cover up Trump's sex scandal with adult film star Stormy Daniels. He will be sentenced on July 11, 4 days before the Republican conventions. After the court, Donald Trump insisted he was innocent and would certainly appeal the verdict. French pharmacists launched their first walkdown in 10 years on Thursday over drug shortages. Fears medication could be sold online at higher pay. Patients were said to find around 90% of pharmacies across France closed for a day, with every pharmacy in some regional towns shutting their doors. Local authorities have requested some locations to ensure legally required minimum coverage. Posters and email campaigns to warn the closures were delivered days before the strike took place. From Dubai hotel kitchens to local farms, a UAE company collects food waste and transforms it into compost. In a country where growing food on sandy soil is challenging, the initiative helps businesses divert their food waste away from landfills and make growing food in the desert nation less problematic. More to follow.
More than 100 hotels and restaurants have joined this company's circular economy digital app since its launch in 2021. The company collects food waste, which is then sorted and taken to a composting facility. It is then mixed with landscaping waste and screened.
The natural composting process can take up to 12 weeks before it is packaged and shipped to local farmers.
We've diverted more than 1 million kilograms of food waste from landfills, and that amounts to more than 1,200,000 kilograms of carbon dioxide emissions prevented from being emitted in the landfill.
In 2022, the UAE's National Food Loss and Waste Initiative said about $1.6 billion is wasted annually on food. In 2023, the government announced an action plan to reduce food loss and waste by 50% by 2030.
We can produce rich compost and soil locally from food waste. And food waste is a very rich in nutrients that really enhance the soil structure we have. As you know, we live in a sand desert, and we can really turn it into a rich environment to cultivate and to help the agricultural sector and depend and improve our food security for the country.
The UAE regularly faces water scarcity and has little arable land. The Gulf Arab oil producer has been pushing to produce more homegrown food to improve food security in an arid country that imports some 90% of its food. Shahid says ReLoop could help boost the domestic agricultural sector.
And now, as usual, let's continue with the weather forecast. And that's all the news for today. To rewatch your program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download our mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching, and goodbye for now.